welcome to the Magical Moms podcast. This is our first episode. Bridget and I are here recording together. We are so excited. This is something we have dreamed of doing for like over a year now. And so to have this be like our first episode is so exciting. Bridget, how are you feeling?
I cannot believe that this dream has come true. We wished upon a star, and look we're here. We are here doing this podcast, and I have never been more excited ever.
I am so excited to be here, and I'm really excited to talk to you guys today about the Disneyland 70th celebration. So that's actually our topic for our premiere episode. We're going to be sharing all our tips and tricks and insider secrets so that you can celebrate the 70th when you visit and know all the like good spots to go and foods to grab and all of those things.
There is so much to talk about with the Disneyland 70th. I don't know if we'll be able to hit it all in this one episode, but let's start with one other thing first. I have a little bit of a fun idea. How about a little bit of a game? It's like a this or that style type of game. So how about you go first?
Okay, let's do it. All right, Bridget.
Uh-huh.
Thrill seeker or chill seeker?
Chill seeker. I'm a chill seeker. I had my thrill seeking days and they are over. And so now it's just chill all the way.
Yes, I would have guessed that for you. And I am like, I would say for me, I'm probably right in the middle. I love some of the thrills. I love doing the rides. I love all that. But I also just love a good walk around Disneyland with like a churro in my hand. So
That just
I'm
sounds
kind of
perfect. Okay, so my turn. Okay, books or movies?
Movies, 100%.
Yeah, I know. I'm a movie girl too. I'm a movie girl too.
Same.
Okay, your turn.
Okay, question for you.
Yeah.
Night in or night out?
Night out. I'm sorry. You can't like grow up in Las Vegas and not be a night out girl forever. I will always choose a night out. And life is too short to have night ins, just night ins.
Yeah. I probably in my pre-mom life, I was definitely the night out girl. I'm kind of more the night in girl now. Like I love like sitting on the couch with the fam, watching a movie or a show and just chilling. But if it's a night out in Disneyland, that's different. I would choose that.
And we've had many a night out at Disneyland.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
Many a night out. Okay, so how about coffee or tea?
Coffee, 100%. I drink tea maybe once a year.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I was never actually a coffee drinker until I had my second child. And I always would go, oh, all those people who need coffee to start their day. And now I'm that person.
You drink so much coffee.
So much coffee. So I completely made a turnaround on that one.
Yes, that's so funny. Well, speaking of coffee, Starbucks or Coffee Bean?
Starbucks all the way. I can't even go to another place. I feel like I'm cheating on this whoever the woman is. I can't.
The mermaid. I don't know if he's called the mermaid.
Yeah, the mermaid. I can't do anything but Starbucks. It feels weird if I don't do Starbucks.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Plus, it's what you can get in the parks. So I just feel like that's just my go-to.
Yeah, thankfully we can get that in the parks. Okay, now this is probably the hardest question you'll ever be asked, ever.
Hit me.
Disneyland popcorn or Mickey pretzel?
For me personally, it's going to be the popcorn for sure.
Yeah.
I love walking around with that salty snack. Pretzels are good too, but I prefer the popcorn.
I know. It's a really, really hard question. I just have this thing where even if I'm completely full, if I walk past a Disneyland popcorn cart and I smell like the popcorn smell, I have to stop. I have no willpower at that point. None whatsoever when I walk past a cart.
Yeah, the smell is too good. It brings back so many memories too.
It does. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk nighttime stuff. World of Color or Fantasmic?
Fantasmic. And just so you know, when I am like in a big cleaning mode in my house, I actually play the Fantasmic theme song.
I love it.
Because I can clean better and faster when I'm listening to it. I really do. I will take video of that and I will send it to you because
please
it gets me going. And World of Color, you know me, I don't like getting like my hair wet. I don't like water rides. And in World of Color, you will get wet. Like you get wet and it's not my thing. Not my thing.
I would have to agree. Fantasmic would probably be my go-to, mostly because it's very nostalgic for me too. And I do love the song. I will say though that the World of Color Happiness, which just came out for the 70th, is fantastic. Yeah. And I know we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show, but that is probably my favorite World of Color. It is so good.
Oh, yeah, it is. I mean, they did a really, really good job with that one. Okay, so I have another one for you. Fast Pass or Lightning Lane?
Probably the easiest one to answer. Fast Pass. Because it
Fast
was
Pass.
free
Hmm.
and you could just go up to the little kiosks in the park and like grab your little Fast Pass for Phantasmic or like
Hmm.
Small World or whatever it was. And now you got to pay for it.
Those were the days. And one of my favorite things to do when it was like the Fast Pass ticket days is
Mhm.
like, when you had to leave the park early or whatever, you'd be like walking out and I would love to just give my paper,
Mm.
pass for whatever to
Yeah.
somebody and they'd all smile because like it happened to me a bunch of times. People did
Yeah.
that to me too. And I loved like paying it forward, like Disney
Hmm.
style. I miss that. You can't do that with Lightning Lane.
No, you can't.
Mm-mm. No,
Not at
no,
all.
no, no.
All right. And then how about to end it? What is one of your like earliest Disney memories that you have?
Okay, now this is actually my real first ever Disney memory. My dad wasn't born in this country and he didn't really have, that like American style childhood. And my first actual memory of Disneyland was watching him walk down Main Street in the shortest white European shorts you have ever seen. They could be illegal, I mean, honestly. And in one hand, he had a turkey leg, and the other hand, he had like a box of popcorn. And I was so embarrassed. But he was like walking down Main Street. He's like, "This is great.
Oh.
This is great." And I just remember going, "Okay, okay, I know it's great, but can you just put on a different pair of shorts next time? Please, this is getting a little uncomfortable." That was actually my first memory. I know it sounds crazy,
Oh.
but that was it. What was yours?
Well, and I love that it involves your dad. That's so
Hmm.
sweet.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I have a couple memories, but honestly, one of the things that I remember, I don't know if it's quite like a memory, but it's just something I
Hmm.
have a very like pictographic memory.
Yeah.
And I can still, when I walk into Tomorrowland and I look at the Starcade and I see the Mickey with the little astronaut, like, you know how he moves the neon sign, he like lights up and he goes across.
Yeah.
I can still close my eyes and see, like, it makes me emotional. I can still see like little Lindsay standing there and like looking at this sign and just being like so happy to be there. And it was just like, I don't know, it was just a time when like all my family was around and they were all there with me. And I don't know, that thing brings back a lot of memories for me.
Oh,
So,
let's see.
not quite a specific memory, but just like an
Yeah.
image of just like, I just remember being a kid and looking at that thing and just being so happy.
Oh, see, I mean, like, look at we've been doing this podcast for
Yeah.
not even like 5 minutes, and we're already kind of tearing up. This is just our
Warning.
passion.
Yes.
This is just our passion for Disneyland. And whenever Lindsay and I talk
Yeah.
about our past, it always involves Disneyland. It's always this is us. So if you ever see us walking down Main Street in the parks, you might see us actually tearing up
Yes.
or something like
It's
this
very
because this
true.
is usually how our conversations go, with happy tears, of course, as well.
Yes.
So
Yes,
we're so
definitely.
thrilled to be making this show with each other, and for you guys all to be listening and watching. And we would love it if you subscribe to the show and follow us on all the socials. Subscribe to our show. That's the first thing that you can do. And then you can also follow us at Magical Moms Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. You can also watch full episodes on YouTube, and that's at youtube.com/Disney content. So we're just so happy that you're here. We
Yes,
really are.
yes. And if you watch, there will be like some times where we like show some stuff. So it'll be fun if you're watching, you can see those
Mhm.
things with us. Just another way to, I don't know, interact with us magical moms.
Yeah, and you can also follow us on our own social accounts. I'm, of course, California Disney Bliss, and Lindsay.
And I'm Chasing Magic Daily. So you can
Yeah,
follow us for all Disney things.
yeah, because that's really what we love to talk about most.
Yes. And if you do like the show, please remember to rate and review. It does help us get the podcast out to other people. And we do a special shout out for all the people who send in a review. And if you're even more comfortable with just sending us a DM, you can do that as well.
And we already have our first review. This is from Kelly K. Estrada. She says, "Great park info, 5 stars. Recent follower on IG, really great and easy up to date park info almost daily. Great job." Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Kelly.
Kelly. Another way to connect with us is through our Patreon. So we are creating this community of magical moms. If you want to join, we do have a link down in the show notes down below, or you can search Magical Moms Podcast on Patreon. And if you're a member, you get to join us on our live recordings. You get access to a lot of our tip sheets where we're sharing all our tips and tricks and insider secrets and all those things. And we're going to do some virtual hangouts, which would be really fun. Bridget and I have gotten a lot of requests in our DMs to do hangouts or to do meetups. So this is a great way to be a part of that. And speaking of, we actually already have our first 3 Patreon members. So we have Canteralia, and I apologize if I mispronounce that, but she is our first ever Patreon member. So we are so excited to have her here. And we also have Anne, who's actually a good friend of Bridget and I. She's a super supportive friend. And Amber. So welcome you guys to the Patreon family of Magical Moms. And again, if you want to join, just make sure to check out those show notes down below or search us in Patreon at Magical Mom Podcast.
Okay, now that we've got all that business out of the way, I think it's time that we properly introduce ourselves. Why did we want to start this podcast? And what's the goal with this podcast? And who are we? I mean, so as you guys know, or maybe you don't know, Lindsay and I are both moms. And we love going to Disneyland. We love creating magic for our families at Disneyland. We also love other theme parks as well. We go to all the other theme parks across Southern California. And we also even do just our basic, Southern California things. We go to local beaches. We check out what's around Anaheim. And we do a lot of other things besides just going to Disneyland that can be pretty magical. Like Lindsay, you just went to SeaWorld, right?
Yes. Yeah, we went to SeaWorld as a family, and that was a great experience. And hopefully in the future, I can talk to you guys about that. And yeah, I mean, I've done Universal. I've actually never done Universal with my kids, which is something I do want to take them to one day and kind of experience that. There's just so much. We also recently did Legoland. Like that's another thing we can talk about is Legoland. And I know you've done Legoland too, Bridget, with your family. Yeah, there is so much that we can talk about on this podcast. We're really excited to just share all the things with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have 3 children. Lindsay has 3 children. And between, both of our lives, we're constantly, coming up with other things to do, besides just going to Disneyland. Like I take our kids to the beaches a lot. We've been to Universal. We've explored Los Angeles, San Diego, all of it. And we try to keep as busy as possible. Both of us. I know, Lindsay, you do the same as well, because
Love to adventure.
when I'm at home with all 3 kids, my house becomes a mess. Like I like to get them out and about. I like to be out doing fun things and really trying to enjoy this time with my kids while I can, because before I know it, I know they're going to be out of the house. My house will be clean, but not as happy. That's for sure. So
Very
Lindsay,
true.
now why don't you start first? Tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Sure. All right. So let's start at the early ages. So I was a Disneyland pass holder. Gosh, back when it was like the hard plastic cards and the very grainy black and white picture of yourself on the back that you couldn't even make out who it was. That was
Yeah.
that was my first pass. And my mom loves to remind me that back in the day, it was $99 to go for the whole year. So whenever I buy my key now, she's always like, wow, we did not pay that back in the day. So that was I was born and raised a Disney kid, but we would go to Disneyland and just have a good time as a family. And then there was a time period in my life where I didn't go to Disneyland pretty much ever, probably for 10 or 15 years. I'd say in that span, I probably went 3 or 4 times because I was an athlete and my life was pretty much devoted to sports. And I went on to play in college. And if you've been a college athlete, you know how much time that takes up, and being a full-time student. So Disney was not a part of my life for a good 10 to 15 years. And then I got married and we had our first child. And that was when I finally got my pass back, when my oldest was 10 months old, and we got our pass and we went the first time in February of 2016. And we just have not looked back since. We have gone probably at least 1,000 times since then. So that's kind of my Disney history. What about yours, Bridget?
Well, my Disney history is very different than yours. So you grew up a local here in Southern California, but I did not. I was actually born and raised in Las Vegas. My dad was in the hotel industry, so I actually was raised like within walking distance of the Las Vegas Strip, which in its way, like own way, it's like its own form of Disneyland. It's, very magical to some. But so I actually was not raised going to Disneyland because my dad was in the hotel industry. We actually went to Walt Disney World a lot. We'd go to Disneyland every so often, but I wasn't raised a Disney kid by any means. I actually wasn't really even into like Disney movies as much. It just wasn't a big part of my childhood. And then my husband and I decided to move from San Francisco down to Orange County. And I'll never forget it. We were driving in the U-Haul, like on the 5, right by Disneyland, although I didn't know it then. And we were driving, it was like later at night, and there was fireworks going up in the sky above our U-Haul truck. And I looked over to my husband, Jack, and I was like, Southern California is welcoming us with fireworks. Like, wow, this is a sign. Little did I know those were Disneyland fireworks, and that it was all gonna like lead up to this Disneyland lifestyle, which I never thought in a million years I'd be part of, at all. It really took our first trip, just like yours, with our first child going to Disneyland and just seeing the magic in her eyes and wanting to be part of it and wanting to go as much as possible and experience it over and over again. But it was definitely like a slow start to becoming who I am today, which is very different than how I started.
Yes. Yes.
And now, Linz, what did you do before you started doing social media?
Wow. Before social media, I was a teacher. I was the third grade teacher for a number of years. And then I went on to work in a pharmacy for a few years. And then I became a stay-at-home mom. And now I'm a social media content creator and podcaster. Add that to the list.
I love it. I love it. My background is somewhat into like this, like having a mic in front of me feels actually really natural because my background is in broadcast news. I did that for a very, very long time. And I loved being in news. I thought it was a great, great, great career, but it definitely wasn't very family friendly. So I love being able to do this now. I mean, this is really where I belong. This is where I feel like is just a natural progression for me. And getting to go to Disneyland or getting to explore Southern California and talk about it and share our experiences it's just a dream come true for me.
Yes. And I feel like we should lead into how we met and how did this podcast come to be?
I love this
because
part.
I feel like people don't really know our story together. I think people might just assume we've always been friends or whatever, but I mean, we are good friends, but like, how did that start?
Yeah, it's funny. I'll have people ask me, are you really friends with Lindsay? And I'm like, yes, I'm really friends with Lindsay. Even if there was no Disneyland, I would still be very, very close friends with Lindsay.
Yes.
And it kind of all started, it's very easy actually to remember the first day of the Avengers campus opening at Disney California Adventure. Lindsay was there, I was there, and we met towards the end of the opening day. That was back during, COVID times. So you had to wear a mask. And it was actually extremely hot that day. Do you remember that?
Yes.
It was like
Very
100
well.
It was like 100 degrees. And, all of Avengers campus is like concrete on top of concrete. And it was so hot. I'll just never forget, like, I was with my husband and we were ready to go. We were done with the day. I was ready to go. And I looked over and I thought I recognized you from social media. And I was like, are you Lindsay? But you were wearing a mask, so
Yes, so hard to tell.
I couldn't tell. And I was wearing a hat and a mask, so you probably couldn't tell either. And then, I don't know, I introduced myself and
the three of us, because Jack was there too, the three of us stood there and talked for, honestly, it was a couple hours, I think. It was at least an hour. I want to say it was like maybe even 2. We just chit-chatted. And then the park closed and we're like, well, I guess we better go.
And I even felt bad leaving you. I was like, do you want me to walk you to your car? Like, I had so much fun talking with you. And that's like, we were really exiting. We were not planning on staying. I remember our babysitter was calling like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm talking with a friend. And that was kind of where it
Yeah.
began. I could have honestly, I mean, you know how it goes, Lindsay, when we're walking around the parks, we could just
Yes.
talk for hours and
Yes.
hours.
And
So,
actually, like, so we talked and hung out that night, but our first
uh-huh,
like real like time we really hung out and like planned to hang out
mhm,
was when the magic key, it was the first day of the magic keys on sale or whatever. And I
yeah.
remember we were texting and we were like, did you get the key or whatever? We got the keys in the morning. And that night was like our
Mhm.
first official hangout session. And we went to Disneyland that night with our magic keys and we like went through like, like passes are back. We were so
We did like a
excited.
happy dance. And when we walked
Yeah.
onto Main Street after like walking in for the first time with our
Yeah.
magic keys, Mickey's Mixed Magic was
Yes.
playing. Do you remember that? And that's like
Mm-hmm.
one of my favorites. And we just danced.
Yes.
And we were just
Yep.
dancing. And that was literally the first time we ever hung out. And I'll never forget, that was when the park was closing a little bit earlier because it was
Yes.
still effects of COVID. And
2021.
we were
Yeah.
like, do we really have to go?
Yeah.
Like we did not want to leave.
No.
But yeah, that was it. That was our first night
Yeah.
of many hanging out. I
Yes.
mean, we have spent so much time in the parks together, which I'm so thankful for. We've had so much fun. We've had so many good
Yes.
times. We have so many firsts. Lindsay and I
Yes.
have this
So many
thing
firsts.
where we do like the first things of Disneyland stuff or whatever in our lives together.
Mhm.
And so this is our first
Our
podcast
first podcast together.
episode,
Yes.
which is crazy. This is another first to add to our list, Lindsay.
Yes. Yep. I know we've done the tours together.
Mhm.
We always do opening day of stuff together.
Always.
Yeah, we just always like those big Disney moments are just like
Mhm.
so special to us.
Oh, and one thing with Lindsay and I that even today, after we've known each other for so many years, we find out that we have so many things in
Mhm.
common. Like it's almost odd how many things that we have
Yes.
in common. I mean, coming from like what? We have family that both went to Notre Dame. We
Mhm.
both love Cars Land because of our dads, of
Yes.
course. Um,
We
I mean,
both
we
lost our dads. I mean, that
Mhm.
was a big bonding point for us, was
Yeah.
like, we know how that feels to lose a
Mhm.
parent. And that was a sad bonding thing, but we've bonded over that.
Yeah. And both of our dads actually used to be race car drivers,
Hmm.
which is very unusual. I've
Yeah.
never met anybody else that had also had a dad that was a race car
Yeah.
driver. So Cars Land is such a special place for both Lindsay and I.
Hmm.
A lot of people talk about Disney therapy and how when you are at Disneyland, sometimes you can just forget your worries or your problems. And I can't really speak for you, Linz, but I know that for
Hmm.
me, walking around Disneyland, especially when I'm thinking about my dad, helps so much. Going to Cars Land,
Yes.
visiting Cars Land is like hanging out with my dad for a little bit.
Hmm.
I know it sounds crazy, but
Yeah.
that's
No,
how it
no,
feels.
I agree 100%. We have so much in common.
Hmm.
And actually, a lot of times people get us mixed up in the
Yeah,
parks. Like I've had multiple times where people think I'm Bridget, and I
yeah,
know Bridget has told me people think you're me.
yeah.
It's like I think it's the blonde hair thing, but
It's the blonde hair. They'll be like, "Wait, are you chasing me?" I'm like, "No, I'm the other
yeah.
one." They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay." Or people will say, "I saw you at the parks today," and I'm at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that wasn't me. I know it
Probably
was
the
Lindsay
other
though.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we just have so many funny things in common. I remember like just a couple months ago, we even realized that we both had ex-boyfriends who were airline
Yes.
pilots. Like
Uh-huh.
we just have these things pop up.
Yeah.
So it was definitely meant to be Lindsay and I becoming friends. And
Yeah.
I am so thankful for our friendship. I mean,
Hmm.
every day I'm so thankful for our friendship and the bond and the community that we have,
Yes.
we do. We have a really good Disney community, and we're so excited to open up that community and have you guys part of that.
Hmm.
We both Lindsay and I love meeting people in the parks. I love meeting new Disney friends. Everyone I've ever met at Disneyland has just been so wonderful.
So
We met
nice.
at Disneyland,
Hmm.
and we are so excited to meet you guys as well. And
Hmm.
I'm so happy to have this community and share it with everyone.
Yeah. And that friendship has led us here to
Yeah.
our podcast.
Yeah. Thanks,
Yeah.
Walt. Thanks.
Yes.
So clearly, Lindsay and I have a lot in common. We're definitely our Disney, bestie. We love hanging out together. But that's kind of hard to do. It was, we got really lucky finding each other a couple of years ago. But if you haven't found your Disney person, that's kind of one of the reasons why we started this podcast is to create this community of people, moms that just love Disneyland, love giving the magic to their families, and really, are looking maybe for somebody else that they can share that experience and magical moment with as well. So we're so happy that you're here. We hope that this can be part of your magical mom journey as well.
All right, let's move on to a little bit of Disney news. We just got an announcement that Oogie Boogie Bash tickets are going to be going on sale very soon. So on June 24th, they will be on sale for Inspire key holders. And then on the 25th, it will be the other key holders, the other 3 tiers of key holders. And then
Mhm.
on the 26th, they'll be available to the general public. One question that I have received is what happens if all the key holders buy all the tickets? You don't have to
Mhm.
worry about that. They do limit the number of tickets
Mhm.
that are sold to the key holders. So there's always tickets available for all dates once it's open to the general public. So mark your
Mhm.
calendars because if you and your family or just you want to do like a
Mhm.
girls' night for Oogie Boogie Bash,
Yeah.
those tickets do go on sale very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lindsay and I have both been to Oogie Boogie Bash a ton of times. I think I've been 10 or 11 times. Lindsay, I know you've done it a gazillion
Five,
times as
six, yeah.
well. Yeah, so we'll be sharing all of our tips and tricks about the Oogie Boogie Bash later on in a future episode.
Okay, I love Oogie Boogie Bash. I cannot
Mhm.
wait to do that, especially with you, Bridget. I think
Yeah,
we're planning to go first day together. But
absolutely.
we are going to start off our premiere episode here with Disneyland's 70th celebration. So right now, Disneyland is celebrating its 70th birthday or anniversary,
Mhm.
which is July 17th, but they have a
Mhm.
year and a half long celebration for it. So we've got
Yeah.
all kinds of things happening in the parks. Bridget and I are going to share our tips and tricks for
Mhm.
you guys. There's so much to talk about. And actually, before we get started, I do have my 70th ears I need to put on. So now I feel like I can really talk about the 70th stuff.
And I'll hold on to the
Oh,
hat.
yes. And we got the gold conductor hat. Yes.
I love this hat so
I
much,
know,
by the
me
way. I
too.
just love it. It's so bright and fun.
I need
And
to find
that's
another reason to wear it.
I know, me too. And this is kind of like what the Disneyland 70 is all about, like bright, fun, sparkly,
Yes.
energetic. I have just absolutely loved it so far. So far, it's been a couple of weeks since it started, and we've really been able to get in it. Disneyland 70 is such an exciting experience. I really wasn't a huge Disney goer when it was the Disneyland 60. So getting to celebrate this big anniversary, kind of like for the first time, has been so exciting. And there
Yes.
is so much to know about the Disneyland 70th. So we kind of, figured out how to compile it, break it down for you so that the next time that you go to Disneyland, you can say, what is this all about? I know exactly what this is about, and tackle on the Disneyland 70th stuff.
Yes.
So let's
So why don't
start.
we get right into it? Let's talk
Yeah.
about the entertainment stuff and then we
Hmm.
can share like our tips and all of that
Yeah.
with the members here. So, all right, let's start with Paint the Night because that
Mhm.
is a big one and that was actually brought back. So I believe it first premiered for the 60th 10 years
Mhm.
ago. And now it's right back here for the 70th, which is so exciting because it's one of the best parades. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but
I do. And it's like we really needed that at Disneyland. We were kind of like missing out on like that nighttime,
Mhm.
parade. We really only get it during the Christmas parade, but that's not for a while. So we really were looking for like that summer entertainment and we got it. We got Paint the Night back. This is something that people have been begging for a long
Mhm.
time to come back. So it's back. And the one thing to know about Paint the Night is that it goes on twice a night, every single night, which is great. Unless it rains, I believe, which we shouldn't be expecting too much rain in the future, especially through summer. It will be going on twice a night. And what it does is that it goes all the way down the parade route. So on the first performance of Paint the Night, it will start at It's a Small World and it will end down in Town Center and Main Street. And then on the second performance, it will go in reverse. So it will start down by Main Street and then go up to It's a Small World. And what's great about that is that you have a really, really long path to find a good spot to view this.
Yeah, and I will say people do start sitting down for this parade
Mhm.
very early. So cast members are they don't allow people to sit more than 2 hours prior
Mhm.
to showtime. But you
Yeah.
will see people starting to like congregate and get ready to like snatch a seat as soon as that like 2 hour mark hits.
Mhm.
So if you want like a front row on the curb seat, you do have to get there kind of early, but if you're
Mhm.
okay with standing, you could probably get a spot, a couple rows back. I,
Mhm.
I I don't know what you would say, Bridget. I'd say maybe like an hour, 45 minutes before. Even
Mhm.
that might be cutting it close, 45 minutes, but you do have
Yeah.
to kind of save a seat for a little bit to get a good spot for that one.
Yeah, and especially on the first performance. The
Yes.
second performance is later on in the evening. So especially people with families, they're probably not going to make it that late
Right.
because it's after 10. But what's so great though about that first performance, and especially where I like to sit. So for all parades, I have a favorite spot. And I know, Linz, that you have a different favorite spot, but my favorite spot for almost all parades is on Main Street. One of the reasons why I love being on Main Street is that it's close to bathrooms, it's close to many dining options, quick service dining options, so I can mobile order, and we can have an ice cream cone while we wait, we can have a hot dog while we wait. But also, if you are catching that first performance, right after that first performance, you can stay in your spot on Main Street, especially if you're on the curb, move on to the middle of this street, face the castle, and you're going to get Wondrous Journeys, which is another nighttime spectacular that was brought for the Disneyland 70th. So you kind of get to see two shows in one right there. But Lindsay, I know where your favorite spot is, and you also can catch two shows as well there. So why don't you talk about where you like to sit?
Well, to be honest, my favorite spot is anywhere I can sit with all the kids front row. But I will say, I think if you're referring to Small World, yes. Okay. So I do like Small World, especially for fireworks with kids, which we'll talk about soon. But if you watch Paint the Night from the Small World area, you do get a view of the fireworks as well. You don't get the projections on the castle, but you do get the projections on Small World. It's a little bit of a different experience, but if you're not, hyper fixated on seeing every single little aspect of the show, because you don't get the things that fly over and stuff, then it's a great spot to watch with kids if you can't camp out for like 2 hours. So I like the Small World area. It's just I think it's easier to do with little kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can
Yeah.
also catch Tapestry of Happiness as well, which it's only a 2-minute long show. It's something that plays on it's a Small World facade of that attraction. And I really liked it. It has a lot of, if you're a Disney fan, it has a lot of like little Disney, scenes and moments that, I mean, I don't know. I was tearing up when I watched it the first time.
I
So
actually
you
haven't
might
seen
as
it
well.
yet. I
Oh,
have
I
to go
think,
watch it.
well, bring some tissues because
Yes.
I
Okay.
wasn't prepared.
Noted.
But yeah, so that is Paint the Night.
hmm
Definitely it's a must see. It's
Yes.
really just it's so entertaining. Little kids really like it as well because it's flashy, it's fun, it's bright. The music is so
So
good.
good. It's
But
so
it's
good.
really a show for everyone. So
Mhm.
if you can catch it, definitely add that to your Disneyland 70th bucket list.
Yes. And then Bridget did bring up Wondrous Journeys, which that
Mm-hmm.
was brought back from that premiered for the Disney 100th
Mm-hmm.
celebration, the 100th
Yeah.
anniversary of the Walt Disney Company. So that was brought back because it was a huge hit. That fireworks show, you talk about bringing tissues, bring your tissues for this show. It is so good. But I would, again, if you're not, all consuming with having to watch it in front of the castle,
Mhm.
the It's a Small World is a great place to watch it from. It's a lot less crowded, and I typically
Mhm.
get a great viewing spot with my kids probably like 30 minutes before showtime.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know, I just prefer Small World with kids. I just think it's a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. My kids know that if we're watching a show or fireworks on Main Street, that we gotta put some work into that one. It takes effort. I always bring like a parade blanket. I bring some
Yes.
toys for them to, hang out. Also, one of the things that I do often is when I go with my kids, my husband's with me.
hmm
He's also a huge Disneyland fan. I get asked that a lot. They're like, "Does Jack like it as much as you do?" And I always say, he doesn't like it as much as I do because I like it a lot, okay? But he does really, really, really enjoy it, especially when there's food involved.
hmm
So we tag team when we wait for these type of shows. I'll go and take the kids on a ride, or I'll take them into a store or whatever, and then we'll switch. So it's not just like all of us sitting in one
Yeah.
spot. So if you go with friends, right? If you can go with friends, or if you go with, your significant other or whoever, then that's an easier way to kind of like wait for those type of parades.
Yeah. And I will say too, and that's going to be
Mm.
another perspective, like a difference in perspective that you guys get from Bridget and I, is that
Mhm.
she goes with her husband and her kids. I
Mhm.
go by myself with my kids. My husband is not a
Mhm.
Disney guy. He doesn't have a pass. So the way I do things is going to be different
Mhm.
from Bridget. I
Yeah.
have to sit in a spot with my 3 kids for however long. So my
Yeah.
I plan a little bit differently. And so, and it's great. You're going to get both perspectives and you'll see how
Mhm.
we do it. But yeah, so again, that's kind of why I prefer the Small World, because I am the one, I have to sit there for the entirety of the wait time.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that's what's great is that we do have different perspectives on
Right.
this, and so we'll hopefully get to share all of that with you.
Yes. And then
Um,
speaking of parades, we also have another parade that came back. So we have a
mhm,
daytime parade that came back for the 70th, which is the Pixar Better Together parade, which
yeah,
premiered for the Pixar Fest last year. And
mhm,
that one's a really fun one too. You get to see a lot of the newer Pixar characters and floats and all of that, as
yeah,
well as some of the classics. And I will say, I love that music too. I think the
I
Better
do.
Together song is so catchy, and you will find me dancing to it. Like I will always be dancing to it as it plays.
You will usually see Lindsay and I dancing
Yes.
somewhere, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that's very common for
Just come
us.
join the dance party if you see
I
us.
mean, when COVID hit and the parks were shut down for 13 months, I listened to Disney parade music
Hmm.
like in the car. I love all that stuff. So,
Yes.
but this parade, another reason why it's so great is that you don't really have to work too hard for this one.
Hmm.
It goes down the entire Disney California Adventure parade route, which is really long and very wide. It is much easier to get a good
Hmm.
spot for this parade than at Disneyland watching one of their, parades or cavalcades. So you can pretty much sit anywhere along the parade route. If you don't know where that is, ask a cast member. They are there to help you. They could even sprinkle some pixie dust on you. You just never
You
know
never know.
who you ask. But you can pretty much show up for a really good spot for this parade 10 minutes
Hmm.
beforehand. I like personally watching it across from the Little Mermaid attraction. That's my favorite spot, but you can sit anywhere 10 to 15 minutes and get a great, great, great spot.
Yes. And I will say I was just there recently and I did see
Mhm.
that. We would have stopped to watch it, but we had to make our Little Mermaid fast pass return time, so we couldn't sit and watch it. But there
Yeah.
was plenty of seating right by Little Mermaid, and the parade like music, like it was coming. Like we were hustling to like
Yeah.
get in front of it before it came. But yeah, there's plenty of space for that parade to watch.
Okay, so one thing that we should talk about, because you're going to hear Lindsay and I talk this Disney jargon, right? Is Disneyland likes to call parades two different things. One, they like to call it a Disneyland parade, or then they like to call it a Disneyland cavalcade.
Hmm.
I swear to you, I had never heard the word cavalcade until Disney printed it. I didn't know what that was. And that's a question I get asked often. What's a cavalcade? Okay, it's really a parade that just uses cars as part of that parade. And it's usually shorter than a typical
Hmm.
parade. So a cavalcade is probably no more than 10 minutes,
Yeah.
where some of the parades at Disneyland can last into the 20-minute mark. So it's a parade. It's a parade, okay? But it's a parade with cars. That's shorter.
Yes.
That's all it is.
Yes.
Disney likes to use that word. I get asked that often, all the time. And right now, there is a brand new cavalcade at Disneyland. It's called Celebrate Happy. It goes on twice a day during the day, and it's so fun. It's actually, I think, one of my favorite new things of entertainment that Disney has
Hmm.
brought to us. I just love it. It's called Celebrate Happy because it is so happy. They play that new Jonas Brothers song
Hmm.
that the Jonas Brothers did for the Disneyland 70th. It's such a fun song, and you get to see such like new amazing characters too.
Yes. So you have I think the big draw for Celebrate Happy, or yeah, the cavalcade to Celebrate Happy, is Duffy and Shelley May. So
Mhm.
they are at Disneyland for the first time ever. And I know people are like freaking out about that. So if
Yeah.
you're a big Duffy or Shelley May fan, you can see them in the cavalcade twice a day. Again, they're dancing along to that Jonas Brothers songs. If you like the Jonas Brothers, you've got that aspect too. It's just a really fun cavalcade, and you'll see some of the princesses, you'll see the classic
Mhm.
characters. Max is there, which I love Max. Big Goofy movie fans. I love seeing Max out there. It's a really fun little cavalcade, and again, the music is great. It's just you definitely want to stop and see that.
Yeah, and also if you have kids that want to see a bunch of characters, you can see a ton of Disneyland characters just in a really short period of time. So if that's something that's on your to-do list for your Disneyland day, you can kind of check it off because you will see at least what 20, 25
Yeah,
characters,
there's a
give
good
or
amount.
take.
Hmm.
So you get to see a bunch. And that's just one of those things where you don't have to wait too long either for it. You could probably get there, what, 15 minutes beforehand along the parade route and still, catch a pretty good view of it.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yep. All right. And then we also, for the 70th, we have another returning favorite, which was
Mhm.
again premiered for the Pixar Fest. We have the Pixar Pals Playtime Party, which is so this takes place at Disneyland over at the Fantasyland Theater.
Mm,
If you're not familiar with that, it's where Mickey and the Magical Map used to be.
mm.
Rip to Mickey and the Magical Map. We wish that one would come back. But this takes over that area there, and it's really cool because it's all Pixar themed. So you're going to see a lot of
Mm,
characters. You're going to see Toy Story characters, Inside Out,
mm.
Incredibles. Inside Out characters are fun because Sadness is there. And I know Sadness went
Aw,
viral because everyone's up there, dancing, have a good time. And Sadness is like, she's just doing her little sad little dance. She's
it's
just
so
so
awesome.
cute up there. And then they actually come off the stage and they like dance with the kids. They
Mm,
have games that they play like in between the dancing. There's
mm.
characters that come out, like Luca comes out. Who else comes out? Oh, I think Ember and Wade, at least
Yeah.
I know have they been out for
Hmm.
the 70th? Okay, so Ember
Yeah.
and Wade come out. I believe Merida comes out. I think we forget
Mhm.
about Merida, but she is a Pixar princess,
Yeah. Yeah.
not a Disney princess. So she comes out, and yeah, it's just a great spot. There's crafts, a
Uh-huh.
great spot for kids. You can even sit. Well, I'll let you talk about sitting and enjoying a food because that's your thing, Bridget.
Food, Disneyland food is definitely my thing.
Yeah.
And one of the great things about the Fantasyland Theater is that it's completely shaded. So we're going to be heading into some warm Disneyland days here. And this place is completely shaded. And also next to the Fantasyland Theater is one of my favorite dining options, Troubadour Tavern, which I am not joking. This gets missed. This gets missed by people. This is a great spot to get a really, really good meal, and people forget about it. Troubadour Tavern is famous for their baked potatoes, and they're just so good. You have to try one. Okay, you have to try one. Also, mobile order. You're gonna want a mobile
Mm.
order from there. Don't wait in that line. Just mobile order. Get your baked potato. They have other things too. They have slushies. They have a bunch of other good menu items, and then you can sit. There's tons of seating at Fantasyland
Mhm.
Theater, tons of it, and it's all shaded. So you can enjoy some nice shade, cooler temps in that spot. And then also your kids can be entertained with
Yes.
all that fun Pixar entertainment that's offered right there.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
too, I don't think I mentioned this. There's a lot of photo ops, really cute photo
Yes.
ops to take down in that
Yeah.
area too, Pixar themed
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
So
And actually
that's a must do.
it was funny. The last time that I was there about a week and a half ago. They have this big photo op of just like the Pixar balls. And you could tell that this couple was really into it. The girl was wearing like Pixar, ears, and the guy's wearing a Pixar shirt. And they went to go take the photo. And then he went down on bended knee and proposed to her in front of
Oh,
the Pixar ball wall. And I was
oh
like,
my
this
gosh.
is so awesome because the
That's so
photo was
cute.
so cool and she was crying and everybody was clapping and then Miss Incredible came out and she was dancing with them. It was the cutest
Oh,
engagement. So
that's so
yeah, you never know
sweet.
what you're gonna see
No, you
there.
don't.
So yeah.
All right. So I think that covers a lot of the big entertainment for the
Hmm.
70th. Maybe we want to talk about some of the activities that are available for the
Yes.
70th.
Yes, and this is also some new news to report. I'm sure you've heard of the Disneyland key, the key to Disneyland. You've seen it. It's gosh, I should probably grab it. I have it somewhere over I have it in my house, but it's a key to Disneyland. People are very, very excited about it, and it has been sold out at the parks for the last couple of weeks. And just today, right before we started this podcast, Lindsay and I were texting each other. They're back in stock. They're back in stock
Oh,
inside Disneyland and World of Disney in downtown Disney. So grab one. If you see one, grab one. Even if you're not going to use it that day, just grab one because you're not going to want to miss out on this experience. It is so much fun.
yeah. So what is the key? Let's
Mhm.
tell you about the key. So the key is
Mhm.
really cute, and I wish I had mine. I thought I had it right here. I'm sorry.
Ah,
I thought I had it right here. But the key is this big key, and you take it
mhm.
around. It's like a scavenger hunt in the park. So this is where it becomes kind of fun for kids. Is
Yeah.
there's 9 different locks around the
Mhm.
parks. There's one in each
Yeah.
land, and as you find each of these locks, you put this giant key into it, and
Mhm.
each one does something a little bit different. There's like music, there's lights, there's bubbles, sound effects. Like it's
Mhm.
really cool. And then after you do it, there's on the side, there's like these little icons that light up. So once you have all your icons lit up, you're going to go over to like the entrance of Disneyland. That's where the final one is. You can do
Yeah.
all of them in any order you want, but the final one has to be the entrance of Disneyland because that's what unlocks. I'll let you tell Bridget because it's just so cool.
It's so cool. So you do that last, that last one, and then it will pop open. The key will unlock a special little compartment, and inside is a collectible Disneyland pin. You can only get this pin. There's actually 9 different pins. You can only get one of the 9 pins with this Disneyland key, and that's Lindsay's. And you
Yeah.
have the Mark Twain on yours, right?
Yes, I have the Mark Twain. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see I have one of the Disneyland D pins here. So they all have the D, and then they have a different icon for each of the lands that you go and put your little key in. So I got the Mark Twain. Which one did you get, Bridget?
I got the Disneyland Castle.
Oh, you got the castle.
Yeah,
Lucky.
I know, I
Oh,
know, I know. And it's something I'm never going to trade. So
yes.
forget it.
Yeah. I'll trade you.
Definitely no.
And actually, speaking of trading, okay, this is an insider tip. I don't think enough people have been talking about it.
Yeah.
If you do the Disneyland key and you don't necessarily want the one that you have, you can go over to Tomorrowland. So right across from, or right near the entrance of like the Tomorrowland, what's that called, Bridget? The big circular building. Oh gosh, I'm totally
Oh,
blanking.
you mean Star Trader? No. Oh, you
Uh,
mean by Utopia,
yes,
where
yeah.
Darth Vader is.
Yes.
Okay, across from Galactic Grill.
Okay, yes, there we go.
You can say that.
Across
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Galactic Grill, there's actually like a little spot right there to do some pin trading, and they are the only location. They have a frame, and they are the ones that you can trade your Disneyland D pins for. The only rule is it's the same rule as all the official pin trading things. You cannot put a pin in there if there's already that one in there. So like I went to go trade the Mark Twain, but Mark Twain was already in there, so I cannot trade.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if I brought this back and there was no Mark Twain in there, I could trade it out for something that they had. So,
Yeah.
but that's the only spot in the park where you can trade for these Disneyland Magic Key, Disneyland Key pins.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like such a fun experience. I mean, you can either do it like an all one day, and that will be kind of like your Disneyland day, or you can just bring it back and do like 2 or 3 at a time. For me, I saw a list of where each of the locations was for each land, but I did not share that with the kids. I wanted them to like search for it. I wanted them to work for it.
Yes.
And it made it so much more fun. Like they were like searching everywhere. It was like playing like a big game of like hot and cold
Yes.
in the Disneyland park. And then they felt like a little accomplished when they would find it, you know?
Yes.
And then each one is like a different, like unlocks like a different like sound when you actually put the key in and bubbles. It's just so much fun.
Yes.
It's a great experience. It should be going through the entire Disneyland 70th season. So if you get the key, don't be afraid that when you go back within that next year and a half to August of 2026, that you'll have the chance to unlock your key
Yes.
for sure.
And actually, I want to mention somebody in the chat said it was Launch Bay. Launch Bay was the name that I was trying to think of. Thank you so much. Remember, if you're part of our Patreon family, you can watch us live recording, and you can chime in when Bridget and I forget these things that we should know.
Yeah.
And remind us. So it was Launch Bay that I was trying to think of. And actually, the Disney legend Bob Gurr actually did the magic key. So I think if he
Oh.
does it, then we should do it too.
Oh, I love him. I love Bob Gurr. He is a Disney icon.
Yes.
I love seeing him in the parks. If you get a glimpse of him, you're lucky. Let's put it that way.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's another new experience for the 70th. Bridget, if you want to talk about it, I will grab my
Yeah.
thing.
So this experience is for Magic Band Plus owners. Magic Band Plus isn't as used as Disneyland as much as used in Walt Disney World, but now with that new entry gate at Disneyland and Disney California Adventure, where you can use your Magic Band Plus to get into the parks now, people are using their Magic Bands more. So with your Magic Band Plus, make sure it's charged, by the way, with your Magic Band Plus, you can wear it, and then you can find different, Magic Band stations across Disneyland. And when you get your Magic Band, you can, if you find the station, you go to the circle, and something exciting will happen. And depending on which one you go to, you might also get a little card that comes out. It's a collectible card. And it's really, really cute. It goes with that land. So there's
Yes.
one for regular Magic Band users, and there's also one if your Magic Band is tied to your Disneyland account, it will know that you are a Magic Key holder, and that's a different card that you will get. So you can actually collect two different cards depending on who you are at each station.
Yes. So it has to be the Magic Band Plus. That's one thing. It's not the regular Magic Band, Magic Band Plus. So you wear those and then you scan in. I actually have here. So again, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see how cute these are. I think
So
there's
cute.
5 different designs to collect, and they all are based off of an opening day attraction from Disneyland, since we are celebrating the 70th. So you got the railroad here. I think this one is the Golden Horseshoe Review. So you can collect these, which is really fun. And then over in Fantasyland, if you do it, there's lights and sounds and music. And my kids really liked that one. You don't get anything from it, but you get to experience kind of like a fun little mini show.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I loved that one. And if you're looking to see like where they are, you might see a line by some of these stations, but the line moves really, really
Yes.
fast. So if you see a line, don't let that hinder you. It shouldn't be longer than like a minute because everyone just like scans in and then gets their ticket.
Yeah.
So it's so fun. It's another scavenger hunt, and this one you don't have to pay for. If you already have a Magic Band Plus, then you don't need to pay anything extra. It's just something that is complimentary with your park ticket.
Yes. And actually, speaking of lines, Bridget, I'm glad you said that because sometimes the line for the Disneyland key, like where you put your key in the lock, sometimes those look really long. They actually move very fast. We waited in some that were very long, but the wait time was less than 10 minutes. And I can do that with my kids. Like that's an easy wait for us.
Yeah.
So don't be intimidated by long lines.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So those are two good things. And then also, Lindsay, you should talk about the Disneyland map just for kids because I know that you
Yes.
have looked through that extensively.
Yes. So I have them right here. So another special thing that they're doing for the 70th, and this is very kid friendly. This is the family adventure map. So you have one for Disneyland, you have one for DCA. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, I have them right here. You can see them. They're really cute. So you can find these at the different guest relations kiosk or at City Hall. And I'll just show you the Disneyland one in here. But if you open it up,
So
it's a
cute.
very kid-friendly map. You can see the park is, like little cartoon characters everywhere. It also has a fun little search and find. So if you're looking for something to do while you're waiting for paint the night or whatever it is, you can have them do this little search and find on the map. It gives you like family-friendly attractions, kid-friendly foods. This is such I hope they do this more often.
Yeah.
I just think this is such a huge asset. And just really cute. One of my daughters loves to collect like the Disneyland maps. She always gets them every time we go. And so she was so excited for these ones because it was just more her, her language. Like it was
Yeah.
really cute. So grab those again at City Hall or like the guest relation kiosks.
Another thing what I love about that map is actually getting to like use and hold the map. We're in a different era right now at Disneyland and we're constantly using our phones. The Disneyland app is something that you have to use kind of throughout the day. And this Disneyland like kids map, it's just something that they get to hold. You're not looking at your phone anymore. It's something to explore. They have to read. It's
Yep.
something that they get to use. And that's fun.
Yes.
That's so fun. There is so much going on with Disneyland 70th. I don't know if we can get into it all in this one episode. So I think it's going to be a part 2. So definitely stick around for part 2. We'll be coming out with another episode where we're going to get into all the other things like the decor, the food, and there's a lot of food, the merch, and there's a ton of merch. So definitely tune in for episode 2 where we will dig into all of that other Disneyland 70th fun stuff.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Make sure, again, if you want to see some of the things that we showed on this podcast, make sure you subscribe on YouTube so you can see it. And make sure to leave us a review. We really appreciate that. That helps us out a lot. We just appreciate the support so much. And we're just so excited to form this group, this community of magical moms. It's going to be really, really special. And I hope that you're a part of it.
Yeah, I do too. I think this is just going to be an exciting new adventure. And I'm so excited that you are part of it, that Lindsay and I can kind of just create this new mom group. I'm very, very excited. And if you want to be part of the show and suggest some lists or tips that we should cover, please feel free to email us at magicalmomspodcast@gmail.com, or you can direct message us as well.
Yep. And don't forget to follow us, Magical Moms Podcast, on social media as well.
Yeah. And if you want to be connected with us all year long, you can join our Patreon fam. The private Facebook group server is filled with so many fun Disney lovers conversations, virtual hangs, and more.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Oh, we did it, Lindsay. We did it. Episode 1.
So until next week, we'll see you
real soon. Not too bad. Not too bad.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
No, maybe one day.